last, take a seat. It's time to soar. Where rivers of success meet, let's unlock the door. Blueprints laid down, we're creating something grand. In Eden they started, now it's our turn to stand. Four rivers flow, a vision crystal clear. With faith in our hearts, we've got no fear. Success streams flowing, lifting us high. With the master's guidance, we're touching the sky. Building our dreams with a powerful team. In this business life, we're living the dream. Rejecting that slow grind. 40 years wasted, leave that behind. Unless the Lord builds, it's all in vain. Divine designs, we're breaking the chains. Biblical blueprints, success is blessed. Let's rise up together, we'll never rest. Success streams flowing, lifting us high. With the master's guidance, we're touching the sky. Building our dreams with a powerful team. In this business life, we're living the dream. So here's to the journey, we're set to take flight. With faith as our armor, we're ready to fight. Welcome to the masterclass. Take a seat, it's time to soar. Where rivers of success meet, let's unlock the door. Blueprints laid down, we're creating something grand. In Eden they started, now it's our turn to stand. Four rivers flow, a vision crystal clear. With faith in our hearts, we've got no fear. Success streams flowing, lifting us high. With the master's guidance, we're touching the sky. Building our dreams.
Hey Kingdom family, greetings and welcome to another Kingdom Conversation with me, your host, Bishop Wayne Malcolm, the Business Bishop. Always excited and delighted to be a part of your life and legacy. Of course, I'm celebrating each and every one of you that have subscribed to the channel, those of you that like the post, leave a comment, and of course, those who share this channel with your family, friends, neighbors, and networks. By simply subscribing, liking, commenting, and sharing, you are partnering with this ministry, and you are making this channel more findable by people like you who are looking for content like this. All right, I want to continue our series on how to have your best year ever, And in the first part, I guess we made it quite clear that your best year ever will reflect the best you ever. So you should prioritize your personal development, who you are becoming, because if you can become more, you can do better. If you can do better, you can have more. All right, today I want to dive into something pretty deep. I want to talk about why you should trade money for time. I want to make sure that you heard that clearly. Why you should trade money for time as opposed to trading time for money. We are taught to trade time for money. We were raised to trade time for money. We were raised to put a monetary value on our time. And particularly in the job market, what we see is people trading time for money. And they're going to be paid X dollars, X pounds per hour. And we are kind of raised to think that way in terms of our time. But your time is infinitely more valuable and more important than your money. And I want to explain why the rich think about this time-money equation in a very different way, and why you need to think about it in a different way if you're going to have your best year ever. So let's dive right in. I will kick off with some context for the concept, and then I'm going to take you through 4 steps. Step 1 is about the mindset shift, so that you really understand why your time is so much greater than your money. We're going to talk about the context of creation, time, space, and energy. We're going to look at identifying and eliminating your time thieves, and then we're going to talk about redeeming your time through leverage. And then we shall conclude why you should trade money for time and never time for money. So let's dive into the context for the concept. Here goes. The difference between a successful life and a stagnant one is not found in outcomes. So typically when we think about successful people versus stagnant people, we tend to measure or determine it by their outcomes. You know, the size of the bank balance, their visibility, their social influence, and we'll say, okay, that's the difference between this person and that person. But the real difference isn't really the bank balance, right? The real difference is in the way that people think, right? Successful people think in a certain way, stagnant people think in a certain way. And, depending at what stage you meet a successful person, it will be reflected. How they think will be reflected by their bank balance. It'll be reflected by their visibility and credibility and authority in a particular niche. It'll be reflected by their social influence. But that will depend on what stage you meet them at in the journey. Fundamentally, 2 people could have the same bank balance, but one of them is on a journey and the other has settled. One of them has embarked on an adventure and the other has settled. And the difference fundamentally is in the way that they think. And this is particularly true when it comes to how you value and use your time. How you value and use your time. Time is the most precious and irreplaceable resource God has given you. Money can be recovered, it can be replaced, it can be increased, it can be multiplied, but time cannot. There's a passage in Matthew 6, and Matthew 6 to me is very much about kingdom economics. And there is a passage in Matthew 6 in which Jesus says that your life is more than what you eat, what you drink, or the clothes that you wear. Your life is more. Your life is more than money. It's more than tasks. It's more than demands. Your life is the time God has entrusted to you. And He is giving you that time to create, to build, to grow, or to fulfill your purpose. Your time is your life. Your life, it will be measured by your time. Upon a tombstone, right, a person's life is marked by a dash between 2 dates. The day you're born and the day you die. These are 2 dates. And so your time is your life is your time, and your life is so much more than money, than tasks, or than demands. So in this lesson, I want to help you to shift from a task-driven life, which leads to overload and burnout, to a time-sensitive life where you are conscious of your window of opportunity. You're conscious of the currency God has invested in you in terms of time. Time is a form of currency. God has made that investment in you, and He has entrusted you with this amount of time so you can create something, so you can build something, so you can grow something, and so you can fulfill your purpose. And I want us to make the shift from a task-driven life to a time-sensitive life, because your future is built not in your tasks, but in your time. I wish I had some help here today. Your future is not built in your tasks, it's built in your time. And I guess a lot of people don't realize that the clock is ticking, and that every moment that you're breathing, you are consuming time. And if we're not careful, we will become overwhelmed and overloaded with tasks, duties, responsibilities that actually contribute little or nothing to your purpose and destiny. So let's dive into this. There are 4 principles I'm going to lay out here. So step number 1 is the mindset shift. Time is greater than money. Time is greater than money. Success begins with understanding the difference between rich thinking and poor thinking. Okay? Rich thinking and poor thinking, not financially, but psychologically. So when I say rich thinking, I'm not saying that people with lots of money think this particular way, whereas people without lots of money think this particular way. There are people with lots of money that still think this way because they were never part of the process that generated the money. They inherited the money, they won the money in a lawsuit, they were given the money. So you've got money and you sport success or you support status symbols, but you still fundamentally have the mindset of someone who is psychologically poor. I'm talking about people who are psychologically rich and people who are psychologically poor. And I want to break down what the difference is, right? So it's time versus money. Here's the core difference. Your time is infinitely more valuable than any amount of money. I'm going to say that again because someone didn't hear that. Your time is infinitely more valuable than any amount of money. So if someone offered you $1 billion today, $1 billion today, on the condition that you do not wake up tomorrow, we'll put $1 billion in your account today, but you must die by the morning. You must die tonight. No one's going to accept that as a deal, right? Unless you already had a death wish, you were already, wanted to check out. No one's going to accept that. Why? Because waking up tomorrow is infinitely more important to you than $1 billion in your account. You would never trade your remaining life for $1 billion. Your time is your life, and your life is God's gift to you to steward and to multiply. Now, the rich mind versus the poor mind. The poor mindset trades time to get money. In other words, they're going to use their time in order to get money. They're going to put a monetary value on their time and then offer that time to an employer in exchange for money. But the rich mind uses money to buy time. The rich mind says, actually, my time is more important than the money, so I'm going to use money to buy more time. Whereas the poor psychologically say, I'm going to use time to buy more money. And what we see is that success grows. You become more successful when you prioritize time over tasks. You become infinitely more successful if you prioritize time over tasks. In other words, if the most precious thing for you, right, in the spiritual adventure that enterprise entrepreneurship and business ownership and investing is, right, because it is all a spiritual adventure that is driven and sustained by faith, right? If your number one priority is buying back your time, you are likely to become much more successful than the person who thinks that money is the prize, right? So let's look at this. Impetus determines outcome. Outcomes are simply the results of inputs. To change your outcomes, you must change the way you think, value, and use your time. So what if I could use a little bit of time to make a lot of money? Woo! Boy, that's a strange one, isn't it? That's a strange one because, the factory school system fundamentally taught us that your time has a monetary value, and that you should be paid per hour And even when people transition from the employee mindset to self-employment, they'll even price their services, right, based on how many hours it takes to deliver, right? So not pricing based on outcome, they're pricing based on hours. And this idea that your services, that your time is worth a certain amount of money is something we were taught by the factory school system. It's something that we were indoctrinated to believe, and it has inadvertently kept us poor. Why? Because you have a limited amount of time. You have a limited amount of time, right? So if your hourly rate is $50, there's only so much you can make. If your hourly rate is $100, there's only so much money you can make. There's only so much wealth you can generate if there is a rate on your time, right? Because that rate is a cap. So I don't care if it was $200 or $1,000 an hour to deliver on your services, right? So there are some services, right, that, it's priced at $1,000 an hour. But clearly there's a limit on how much you can generate if you put a price on your time. But what if you could make a lot of money with a little bit of time? What if you could make $10,000 in an hour, or $100,000 in an hour, or $1 million in an hour? Now, this is not based on the hour, right? The pricing cannot be based on an hourly rate. That sort of pricing can only be based on a outcome desired by your customer or client. And that sort of money would have to be worth the investment to your customer or your client. In other words, that $10,000, $100,000, $1 million would either be saving them many more millions or making for them many more millions, in which case the outcome is worth the price. But what if you could deliver that outcome in an hour? What if you could deliver that outcome in 10 minutes? What if you could deliver that outcome in one day? Now you're no longer trading time for money. What you are fundamentally doing is trading in outcomes, results, and solutions. And when you trade in outcomes, results, and solutions, you can put a monetary value on an outcome, a result, or a solution, regardless of how much time it takes for you to deliver that. Because if the outcome, result, or solution is worth $1 million, and you can deliver the outcome, result, or solution in a day, or two, or an hour, or a week, or a month, this suddenly removes the cap, the ceiling from your earning potential. And so the rich think very differently when it comes to time and money. The poor, the poverty mindset, the indoctrination of the factory school system, the weapons of mass instruction that we were exposed to through the factory school system, which was designed to mass produce employees and workers. That indoctrination says, look, there's going to be a limit to how much you can earn because your earning capacity will be tied to your hourly rate. But the entrepreneur and the investor is saying, no, I'm not going to tie my income to my hours. I'm going to tie the income to the outcomes that I am able to secure for my clients and customers. I'm going to tie my income to the results, to the transformation, to the breakthroughs that we can secure for our clients and customers. Because if that breakthrough is worth to them $100,000 because they're already spending $200,000 on the problem, and now it's more than worth $100,000 to cure the problem, then actually the rich mind says, I'm going to charge for an outcome. I'm not going to charge for the hours it takes to deliver that outcome. That was a good piece of business coaching for someone. Step 2 is the context of creation. So Genesis 1 Again, you can screenshot this screen because I may not cover every point on the screen. But in Genesis 1, that's the opening chapter of the Bible, and the opening verse of the opening chapter of the Bible gives us the context for all creation, and therefore the context for all creativity. Woo! The context for all creation is the context for all creativity. And I know that some people read Genesis 1 in order to find out more about God. But actually, Genesis 1 reveals the fact that human beings are the image and likeness, are made in the image and likeness of God. We are the reflection and resemblance of God, so that whatever God is telling you about himself, he's indirectly telling you about yourself. And if God had a context for creation, there is a context in which you can be creative. And the context for creation in Genesis 1 verse 1 is the context of time, space, and energy. Now, let me show this to you. In the beginning, that's a reference to time. God created heaven, that's a reference to space, and the earth, that's a reference to matter. But matter under a microscope is really energy, right? So if you break down all matter, all material things, right, and study them at a microscopic level, you'll see that all matter is made up of tiny particles called molecules. The molecules themselves are made up of even smaller particles called atoms. The atoms themselves are made up of subatomic particles like protons and neurons that are not things, they are energies. So that fundamentally, one of maybe the fundamental law of physics is that material things are essentially not material. And that's quite profound, but you're going to need to study physics to get this. So what the physicists have come up with is a concept called the time-space continuum. The time-space continuum. The time-space continuum basically says that things cannot exist outside of time and space. So that if the universe came into being, right, and of course most of them believe it came into being through the Big Bang, right? A Big Bang. Most of them can't tell you what it is that banged or what was there to explode. But the idea is that for a thing to come into being, it must come into being. It must simultaneously, right? Time and space must exist for the thing to come into being. Because if a thing exists, it exists in time. If a thing exists, it exists in space. Which means that what we see in Genesis 1 verse 1 is the context for all creation. Time, space, energy. In the beginning time, God created heaven, space, and the earth, energy. Time, space, and energy. And if this is the context for all creation, then it is the context for all creativity. And what this simply means is that you cannot maximize your creative potential. You cannot create anything meaningful and measurable outside of time, space, and energy. You need time, space, and energy in order to create. In order to bring something meaningful into existence, you need time, space, and energy. So I want you to basically say it with me. I need more time, space, and energy. Yeah. So I've written it down here that you cannot create anything meaningful outside of these three elements. Your future masterpiece requires all three. So if you are the image and the likeness of God, the resemblance and reflection of God, this means that you are created to create. You are a creator. And creativity is an innate part of your human nature. It is what fundamentally differentiates you from animal kind and puts you in the God class, is your insatiable appetite to create and your limitless capacity to create. You are a creator. You were created to create things. You were made to make things. And so fundamentally, what you're meant to do with your life is make a masterpiece. What you're meant to create is your environment. You're meant to create your own environment. You are meant to create opportunities. You're meant to create massive value for others. That's creativity. And of course, we most see this in entrepreneurship and enterprise, but you are created to create. So create your own environment, create your world, create your environment, create opportunities, and create massive value for others. Make a masterpiece. That's the transition from a working life to a life's work. So most people have a working life, but very few have a life's work. And your calling as a kingdom citizen is to have a magnificent obsession that is your life's work. And you are no more, like God or godlike or godly than when you are making a masterpiece, creating opportunity, creating value, creating a better environment. You are manifesting godlikeness through your creativity. But here's what we learn from Genesis 1. Your future masterpiece requires time, space, and energy. And because it requires time, space, and energy, guess what the enemy is attacking in this new year? Guess what the enemy's number one attack? Guess what the enemy's going to attack? So we say, oh, he's going to attack my finances, or he's going to attack my family, or he's going to attack my health, or he's going to attack my, my church. He's going to attack my faith. He's going to attack. All of these are a means to an end. Whatever attack of the enemy is happening in your life is a means to an end. He's actually attacking something else, something more fundamentally. The enemy is going to attack your time, he's going to attack your space, and he's going to attack your energy in the new year. Yeah, I said it, someone need to scream. If you want to know what the enemy is targeting in your life, he is targeting your time, your space, and your energy. Why? Because he knows that without time, space, and energy, you cannot manifest creativity. Without your time, space, and energy, you'll never make your masterpiece. Without time, space, and energy, you'll never fulfill your destiny. Without time, space, and energy, you will never accomplish your assignment. Without time, space, and energy, you are never going to create a better environment for yourself, your family, your neighborhood, community, city, or nation. Without time, space, and energy, you are never going to create solutions. You're never going to create opportunities. You're never going to create massive value for others. You are not going to fulfill the very purpose of your presence on planet Earth without time, space, and energy. So he's going to attack your time. He's going to attack your space, and he's going to attack your energy. Let's look at this. Your time is attacked through exhaustion, wage slavery, and endless tasks. Your space is attacked through a cluttered mind, distractions, and unnecessary drama. Your energy is attacked through battles you were never assigned, draining conflicts, emotional entanglements. Listen, when Jesus said turn the other cheek, he wasn't preaching pacifism. He was basically saying choose your battles carefully. Do not accept every and any invitation to war. Because if the devil invites you into a war and you accept the invitation, you may be going alone. If God sends you into a war, you are never going alone. So choose your battles carefully. You don't have to respond to every critic. You don't have to respond to your detractors and subtractors. You don't have to respond to every allegation. You don't have to respond to every attack. You can choose your response, and you choose your battles very carefully. Why? Because there are some battles that even if you win, you still lose. Like even if you prove them wrong, expose the lie, you still lose. Why? Because you lost time, because you lost focus, because you lost energy, fighting a battle that never needed to be fought. So if you're going to protect something in the new year, protect your time, space, and energy, because that's the context for all creativity. If you had the time, space, and energy, you could build anything. You could birth a movement. You could grow a ministry. You could grow a business. You could create a legacy if you had the time, space, and energy. Which brings me to step 3, that you will need to identify and eliminate your time thieves. right? Because there are, the thief comes not before to steal, kill, and to destroy, according to John 10. There are demons, if you like, whose sole objective is to steal your time, to overwhelm you and overload you with tasks that contribute little or nothing to your assignment, purpose, destiny, or legacy. To get you outing fires for the rest of your life, doing menial things that have no spiritual meaning. And so your time thieves include endless tasks that don't move the needle, people who drain your focus, distractions that invade your space, drama that consumes your emotional energy. And when you identify that these things are stealing my time, space, and energy, my time, my mental space, and my physical energy, these things are stealing my time, space, and energy. Drama, someone else's drama, consuming your emotional energy. Distractions, invading your space. People who drain your focus and deplete your energy and take up your time. Endless tasks that don't move the needle. When you identify them, you want to eliminate or delegate. Woo! I wish I had some help in here. You need to eliminate or delegate. And just think of it. I'm going to identify the time thieves. I'm going to eliminate or delegate. There are some tasks you should eliminate entirely. Like, I'm going to stop doing this. I've been doing this, but I'm not going to do it anymore. I'm going to stop doing this in the new year. It's done. I'm going to stop it right now. I'm eliminating it because these things that take your time, space, and energy contribute little or nothing to your purpose, destiny, or legacy. They contribute little or nothing to your life, leadership, or legacy. They contribute little or nothing to your life's work, right? They may be a part of your working life, but they contribute nothing to your life's work. Eliminate them. But there are other things that need to be done, but not by you. Woo! I wish I had some help in here. There are things that do need to be done, but not by you. You don't have to do them. The leadership transition, the leadership journey is the journey that starts with doing things, right? But it ends with getting things done. See, the leader is not here to do things. The leader's worth will not be determined by how much he or she does. It will be determined by how much he or she gets done, right? So this is why most people don't even know what CEOs do. Most people who are employees look at the CEO and they think, well, what does he even do? What does she even do? Look like they just play golf. Look like they just out and about. Look like they just attend meetings. Look like they just speak every now and again. What do they even do? You know why most people don't know what they do? Because their value to the organization is not determined by what they do. It is determined by what they get done. And so there are things you're currently doing that you need to delegate and get them done and not be the person consuming your time, space, and energy doing them. It's moving from doing things to getting things done that frees your time. You want to protect your mental space. Not everyone deserves a place in your mind. There are some people that are living rent-free in your mind and you need to evict them today. They are not worthy of the space they have occupied in your mind. They have little or no power to determine your destiny, to impact on your outcomes. They don't deserve to be living rent-free in your mind. Not every comment or conflict is worthy of your attention. You need mental space to create, think, plan, and build. All right, step 4. Redeeming your time through leverage. So you should trade money for time. You should buy back your time at all costs. because you need time, space, and energy in order to create massive value, solutions, a better environment, make your masterpiece, fulfill your purpose, destiny, and legacy. You need more time. And so you're going to buy back the time, right? And you buy back the time when you understand leverage. So leverage, like, a lever, a leverage describes a lever. A lever is a tool that allows you to get more done in less time with less effort. You get more done in less time with less effort. Let me give you a carpenter's tools are all forms of leverage, right? A hammer is a form of leverage because it allows you to get the nail in less time with less effort. A saw is a form of leverage, but a power saw is an even more powerful form of leverage because you can cut that piece of wood in less time with less effort, right? So what it would have taken an hour to do, with a power tool, you can do in a minute or two. And so leverage means that you need to use tools, you need to use teams and systems that give you more time. So when you're building your business, your enterprise, your organization, what you need to be prioritizing is the tools that become leverage, that get more done in less time with less effort. Your team should be getting more done in less time with less effort. And if you have a team that you're having to double up on all their work, right? You have to micromanage them and in some cases redo everything that they've done. That team is costing you time, space, and energy. And what you want is a team that buys back your time, space, and energy. And there are systems and automations that are going to buy back your time, space, and energy. You want to outsource what drains you. You want to automate whatever needs to be repeated. You want to invest in anything that multiplies your hours. All right. And so I'm going to close with this. Here's the conclusion today. Now, obviously, there's a lot more I could say, right? But I'm going to bless you. I'm going to bless you today because I've actually written a book about this. I've written a book about buying back your time. I've written a book about leverage. I've written a book about and I'm giving it away as an audiobook. So there's going to be a link in the description beneath this video. And what you can do if you feel like the devil is attacking your time, space, and energy, particularly as an entrepreneur. You're an entrepreneur, you're a business leader, you're a business owner, you're an organizational leader, and you're called to leadership, and you feel like the devil is stifling your creativity by stealing your time, space, and energy. That audiobook is designed for you. And you want to get that audiobook, it's free, and you want to consume its content and practice its principles because it will change the game for you fundamentally. So your best year ever will not come through doing more tasks. It will come from valuing and stewarding your time. When you protect your time, clear your space, and strengthen your energy, eliminate time thieves, and use leverage to buy back your hours, you regain the power to create your God-designed future. Remember, your time is your life. Your future is hidden in your time. And when you choose time over tasks, you step into a new level of mastery, purpose, and destiny. Psalm 90, verse 12, teach us to number our days that we may gain a heart of wisdom. All right, look, don't go before you look at these ads. Lots of things I want to give away. It's a season of giving and generosity and sharing, and there are lots of things I want to give away. You don't want to miss any of it. There is a link in the description beneath this video, and you can access all the resources through my Linktree link that is in the description. Listen, it's been fantastic sharing with you. I can't wait. There's so much more to cover in this series. I'm trying to set you up for an amazing new year. Are you excited? Yay! All right, it's the Business Bishop bidding you Godspeed, peace out, and shalom.
Hey there, entrepreneurs. If you enjoy the teachings of Bishop Wayne Malcolm, I've got something amazing for you. Introducing the New Breed Community, an exclusive online platform for kingdom-conscious entrepreneurs, professionals, investors, and creators. This isn't just a community, it's a movement where we discuss and explore kingdom concepts. Here, kingdom-minded people connect, share, learn, and grow together. Inside, you'll find exclusive content from Bishop Wayne Malcolm, including special sessions just for members. And the best part? It's free to join. The New Breed community sits on the Heartbeat platform, where Bishop Wayne Malcolm is excited to meet you online. Join us for weekly Q&A sessions with Bishop Wayne, and get exclusive insights that can transform your life. Love to read? Join our book club to feed your mind and spirit. Got a prayer request? Post it and let's lift each other up. Have a testimony? Share how God's goodness is shining in your life. We're more than just a community, we're a movement. Discover the powerful relationship between your profession and your purpose. Join us now on the Heartbeat platform. Connect with us and let's grow together. Bishop Wayne Malcolm and the New Breed community are waiting for you. So what are you waiting for? Hit that join button and step into a world of connection and growth. A warm welcome awaits you. See you on the inside.
Hey, I'm Bishop Wayne Malcolm, author, coach, and founder of the Epic Kingdom Network. If you've ever felt like something's missing in what you've been taught about Christianity, you're not wrong. Most of us were taught that heaven and the hereafter are the goal, prize, and sole objective of the faith. But the original message of Christ taught us to engage, to influence, and to transform the world. Believe it or not, Jesus didn't die to get us into heaven. He died to get heaven into us, and then through us into the earth. What if I told you that Christianity was never meant to be a religion, but rather a relationship and a global revolution, a divine intervention, not a man-made institution? The original message and mission of Christ was hijacked, diluted, distorted, and replaced with a religion. My new ebook, Kingdom Theology for Kingdom Citizens, is not just another devotional, it's a call to action. A bold reintroduction to the original message of Christ, a message of dominion, not escapism, of transformation, not tradition. You'll learn what it means to rule and reign with Christ, to steward wealth with purpose, to influence government, education, culture, and business as an ambassador of heaven. This book will shift your lens, stir your spirit, and set you on course with divine clarity. And right now, for a limited time, I'm giving you free access to the digital and audiobook versions. No cost, no catch. Just click the link in the description, grab your copy, and step into clarity. In the Bible, 40 days is never just 40 days. It's a turning point and a spiritual reset before a destiny release. 40 days of rain and Noah pioneered a new world. 40 days on the mountain and Moses received a nation-shaping blueprint. 40 days in the wilderness and Jesus stepped into global impact. After the resurrection, 40 days of kingdom teaching prepared the leaders of the early church. That's not a coincidence, it's a spiritual success system. Given that all these Bible characters launched their own legacies with a 40-day challenge, let me ask you, would you give God 40 days to transform the next 40 years of your life and legacy? What if 40 days of alignment could unlock 40 years of clarity, authority, and prosperity? What if 40 days of focus could unleash 40 years of favor? Check out my new 40-day challenge, an intensive kingdom immersion for entrepreneurs, builders, creators, and visionaries. Each day, we dive deep into kingdom philosophy, psychology, economics, business, and leadership. So you can stop the grind and start to grow with spiritual precision. Perhaps the next 40 years is waiting for you to consecrate 40 days of focused discipleship so that you can create a lasting legacy of success. If you're serious about your next season, don't miss this moment. Check out the link in the description and register now.